I'd like to call this regular city council meeting December 4th. Would you please call the roll?
Gage,
Here.
Coos,
Here.
Zingy,
Here.
Matani,
Here.
Bradbury,
Here.
Finnegan,
Here.
and Gass is absent tonight. And Severson.
Present. Would you please rise for the pledge? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Ketchikan City Council would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional first people of this land in Ketchikan, the Tongass Tlingit people. Under communications, we have requests for a letter of support for Hope, owners of Ketchikan. We have an update under communications in regards to rent owned and exempted properties. A summary of that. We also have some corrections to the minutes. And we have a communication in regards to the museum advisory board meeting. And we have an updated calendar. Under that, next thing we have is person to be heard.
Our first person tonight is Eric Matson.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm Eric Matson. I'm going to speak as police chief for the police department. See if I can get through this. I'd like to highlight some cases that recently came across the court, specifically on Tuesday. These are two cases that involved children, and they're cases that I don't think that we always hear about or see about. So I think a lot of times in this venue, we hear about visible things, so homeless or trespass or things that are a nuisance. And while those are still important to address, there is still other police work that's happening within the police department. So I'll try and get through this. I prepared a statement. I just want to read it. I think it might be a little bit easier for me to just do that and get through it. But I want to take a moment and recognize two of our officers. First being Detective Amanda Matley and Officer John Brown. And Officer John Brown was a detective early on some of these cases, or at least one of them. Both of their exceptional dedication recently brought justice in two cases involving deeply illicit and heinous crimes committed against children. Their investigative work was relentless, thorough, and conducted with the highest level of professionalism. And doing so, all while raising their own families and their own young children. Cases of this nature take a profound internal toll. These officers were exposed to evidence and circumstances that no one should ever have to witness. Yet they remained unwavering in their commitment to protecting our most vulnerable. They carried that burden quietly, with courage and integrity, and all while ensuring the victims and their families were treated with compassion and dignity. Because of their extraordinary efforts, the offenders were successfully prosecuted and pled guilty on all major charges. This outcome reflects not only their skill and determination, but their devotion to justice and to the safety of our community. I want to publicly commend these officers for their service, for their resilience, and their steadfast commitment to the people who were sworn to protect. And I also want to thank our local district attorney's office and also one of the DAs from the Juneau office. The Department of Law put out two press releases, and I just want to go over just some highlights. I'm almost done, so just please bear with me.
Take your time.
Both of these, first being December 3rd, 2025, says on Monday, but Kevin Jordan, 53 years old, of Ketchikan, pled guilty to one count of attempted sexual abuse of a minor in the first degree. The charges stem from an incident that occurred in Ketchikan between December 2023 and February 2024. The sentencing hearing is set for March 11th, 2026, so please look for that. That'll be in front of Superior Court Judge Doty. Jordan faces a maximum possible sentence of 99 years. So that's the most severe sentence that you can get in the state of Alaska. And this is in conjunction, in partnership with the Juneau DA's office and Jennifer Chaudry specifically. Detective Matt Lee is part of that case. Also on December 3rd, Superior Court Judge Lybrand sentenced Logan Omer, 23 years of age, for 2 counts of possession of child pornography to serve 25 years of jail time, 20 years suspended, 10 years of supervised probation, and a lifetime sex offender registration. Officers with the Ketchikan Police Department apprehended Omer in 2021 for possession of child sex abuse material, which I'll just refer to as CSAM. That's what we call it. After receiving a cyber tip about Omer from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and filed charges. Police later initiated a second case in 2024 when they learned that Omer had accessed more CSAM while on release pending trial in the first case. The investigations yielded an enormous amount of illicit content. Omer pled in June 2025 pursuant a partially negotiated plea agreement to a single consolidated count of possession of child pornography. In the first case, incorporated 18 counts of possession and a single consolidated count of possession of child pornography. In the second case, that incorporated 19 counts of possession. At sentencing, the prosecution commented on the seriousness of the charges and expressed its belief that Omer's prospects for rehabilitation seemed very guarded. In his allocution, Omer told the court, "It got so bad that I wasn't just watching, but collecting and trading CSAM, constantly trying to find material to use as leverage to acquire more later on." Judge Lybrand emphasized during her sentencing remarks and speaking with Detective Matt Lee went on for about 15 minutes of just how serious Omer's conduct had been. She explained the breadth of the offense, of the amount of content, both in images and videos, that Mr. Omer had is pretty remarkable. And the content of these videos are videos of children being abused. I mean, their worst moments, to the extent they can remember them being captured and disseminated forever. She added, "I don't think I can overstate the seriousness of the offense, and really to drill home that, although we don't have a kid who's sitting in the witness stand testifying about this, these are real victims who had things done to them, captured and sent around the world, and will continue to do that." This case was prosecuted out of our local DA's office. And again, those were Detective Amanda Matley and Officer John Brown. I just want to thank you for your time and listening and letting me share some other casework and maybe some trauma and scars that you're just not going to see on the outside of those officers, but something they'll carry with themselves for the rest of their lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Juliana.
Hi, I'm Juliana Hefner. I actually have a non-for-profit called Hope Holders Ketchikan. I think I've been here a zillion times. My residence is 3175 Jackson Heights. And I had the opportunity to have a colleague in housing give me the opportunity to apply for housing for Ketchikan. There is a basic homeless assistance program that has up to $100,000 per award to be able to use for homeless services, to get people up on their street, be able to get them protected, be able to get them IDs or whatever they need. And that's something that I believe that would more than benefit Ketchikan and would help our homeless situation. I'm in the process of opening a hub where we can pay services. So anybody, and have to be homeless, you don't have to be anything, you just, if you want some help, you come in. There's going to be multiple things going on there, and the first thing is going to be direct contact. because if you have connection, then you'll be able to get back up on your feet and keep that connection. And it seems to be that coordinated entry is coming in, so we're gonna learn about that to be able to do it, so we can coordinate the basic needs of what they need, and then housing, and then into the various things like health and anything else they wanted to get to for the social services. But there's also a second opportunity for homeowners to apply for the Next Generation Stabilization. It's a housing program that is been awarded, would be about $300,000. That money is used to stabilize families and individuals that are getting ready to prepare to be homeless. There's part of the program where they can have 6 months to 12 months with active information so that they can get steady on their feet. There is services that are involved, like case management and peer support that would be supported. But there are so many things that we could use this money for that the people in our community could do, but have to have a letter of support from the municipality. I'm not asking for anything, but yes, you believe I could do this if I got the grant, and that you stand behind me so that I can tell them that we want the grant there. The funds just became available, I believe, in October. 2 days after that, I got a thing. So it's kind of like a rush situation. And I do appreciate you guys putting me on the agenda, because I have spent probably the last 6 weeks doing nothing but writing grants and policy procedures so we can make deadlines. Because I think we really need this to catch up.
Thank you. So the request has been made, and some of the information is going to lay on the table. And since it's not necessarily an agenda item, talking with the manager, all we need is 4 hands to direct city to. There you go.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Anybody else?
No, that's the end of the list, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Moves us on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I want to be removed from consent.
All right, go ahead.
I want to be removed from consent, resolution number 252983,
And move to new business?
and move to new business.
Okay. So that would be new business item E?
Yeah.
All right.
That's only 2 consent items, huh? Okay.
So do I have a motion to consent?
Move to consent.
Second,
It has been moved and second. Madam Clerk, would you please read the item?
Approval of minutes, regular city council meeting of November 20th, 25, with that one correction on it's on page 8. I was more concerned, some citizen may call you and say, you're doing a 5% sales season, and it's not, it's 0.5, a little decimal is missing in there. So I wanted to clarify. But the rumors begin.
Any discussion? Hearing, seeing, will you please call the roll?
Bradbury,
Yes.
Gage. Yes. Zingy,
Yes.
Coos,
Yes.
Matani,
yes.
Finnegan.
Yes.
That passes, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have no unfinished businesses this time. Brings us to new business. Item A, Fire Department presentation on new community information platform. Good
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. What we're going to present to you tonight, one of the folks that really has dove deep in helping get this set up is Division Chief O'Sullivan. So she will walk us through, and then I will be over at Taylor's desk, physically showing folks how easy it is to sign up for the Community Connect. This process has been about a year in progress with us updating our reporting system, and it's touched most every department in the city. Our IT department has been involved in helping us assure some of the things that we needed to get this process going are completed. Our dispatch center, our CAD vendor, we've involved Public Works with the GIS. So to say that the success of this program falls directly on the fire department's accomplishments. It really has been a whole city process to be able to provide improved information to us when we're responding to emergencies. So Gretchen, I'll let you take over and I'll hop over to run us through the sign-up procedure.
Right, so what we have is part of our new record management system is part of that. They're calling Community Connect, and it allows our residents and our businesses to enroll in the program and provide as much or as little information as they want to the fire department, so that when we're dispatched or apparatus responds to an address, automatically it'll pop up the information that the resident has put in there. So we can put information about your utility locates, your water shut off, your pets, anybody in the home who needs assistance, all kinds of information. You can also put in codes for doors, other information like that. And that just provides us that information as we're responding. It'll pop up on our iPads and we can see that, who the contacts are, any information that the residents want us to know about. And so that gives us really good access. Businesses also can sign up for it and update their contact information. They can request notifications for when 911 is responding to that address. And then they can update their contact information. So it really is helpful. It also allows us to push out notifications whenever we want to send that information to the residents. They opt into which notifications they want, so they don't have to opt into all of them. They can choose one or the other. So Rick was going to pull up how to sign up as a resident. We're going to focus on the residents tonight. If the business owners want information on it, they can always come down to the station and see me or Gunner. So you have to put your email address and a password in. And really, the only information we can see is what the resident enters. So there won't be any other information.
Oh, short password.
We have had about 60 households register already.
Is it entering?
So it's asking for his name, phone number, address. It will allow anybody in Ketchikan to register. We're the only department who is using it. So if you live out north or south, we will get that information if we respond mutual aid to those locations, but North and South Tongass fire departments will not have it necessarily when they're responding. So this is the main interface when you first log in, and it asks for your information in the very first box. And then are you gonna?
I'll just go
Go,
across
okay.
as you talk about it.
So your information, so it's name. And I can't see it. My eyes don't want that.
The next one is household information.
Yeah, household information is the next one. You can put information about how many people are living in your house, where they're located in the house. And then contact information. So names and phone numbers. Functional needs, that's where you can put if you have somebody who has additional needs. And where they might be located or what those needs might be, which is really important when we're responding to medical calls or fire calls. Underneath that, we have pets, so you can add all of your pets and you can put a picture of your pet and describe where they might be located in the home. Access and utilities. You can add any door codes you might have, any way that you might want to tell us that we can access your property, where your utilities are, where your electrical shutoffs are, where water shutoffs are, which can be important sometimes if you need somebody to go and shut off broken water. Attachments, that is an area you can upload whatever information you choose. Burn permits is something that we're working on. You can go in, a resident can go in there and apply for a burn permit, and then when we're responding to that address, it will pop up and let the responders know, hey, there's somebody burning at that location. It just gives them an idea that it may not be a structure fire, it may just be a burn permit that's at that address. Smoke alarms is a new thing for us. The residents can go in there and ask for batteries for their smoke alarms. They can ask for help installing smoke detectors and just doing inspections on smoke detectors. So that would,
Had 2 requests
Yes.
already?
and that will notify the staff and they can go in and respond to that request for smoke detectors or batteries. Permits, we're not really using this at that time. We may end up just getting off this page. And then, requests for inspections. We don't really do residential inspections, but if somebody wanted to add something to that, if they had a request, and we've talked about having MIH use that as a request area that somebody can go in and do a requested inspection. And they can go in there and it's just like the smoke detectors. We'll get an alert. We'll go in and contact those people for whatever it is that they're requesting in that location. And really, that's about it. Like I said, it's as much information as you want to share. There is a spot for notifications up at the top. I think it's the little notification button with the bell. Yeah. So you can turn on or off any of the notifications that you choose to have on there. And you'll be notified when we push out information through this as well.
So the public can navigate to this through the fire department website.
Yes, it's on our Facebook page. There's a QR code that we're going to be putting out in publications as well that they can just scan.
Jeff?
I think it's an excellent service and I appreciate the effort that's gone into making it possible. I'm curious whether folks who are on liveaboard vessels would qualify for this program, if that's something that they would be able to do as well.
Yes, if they live in the city, we will do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Jay?
Great work. I'm glad it's coming on board, but just a question. There's a lot of cyber security issues. How safe is this site? Because if people are gonna put codes, phone numbers, how are we gonna secure this site?
So they provide the same encryption and security that they say is bank level, like your bank would provide. But once you input your information into that, I think only Greg, Assistant Chief Carlick, Division Chief O'Sullivan, or myself have access to that information. When we're dispatched to that location, that information is given to the responding units and they can access it for up to, from the time of the initial call to up to 5 minutes after the call, then they're locked out of it. So not even our employees riding around on a fire engine could say, let's see what's going on at that house. It's very secure and that was one of the questions that I think we initially had too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Dick?
Yeah, sort of a different question, but here, 7 or 8 years ago, you made a concerted effort to put out fire alarms in people's houses. How often do they need to be checked?
The smoke detectors and fire alarms, or the smoke detectors, and they have CO detection in them now too, are 10-year battery life. So they're good for 10 years and then we just replace the whole thing. We don't do batteries much anymore.
Okay, we'll have to look and see whether the date's marked on them.
Yeah, and that's where this program, if anybody wanted to have them even just checked, they can go in and request an inspection on their smoke detectors and we'll send a crew out to look at them.
Good. Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So that brings us to new business item B, budget transfer and amending payment processor agreement terms. Pay Mantis. Do I have a recommended motion?
We read both of these tonight.
Yeah, then this was my question as well. Is this an, if I may, is this an either or is this,
Is it two-part
And-
motion?
Okay.
Two separate.
Okay.
actions.
great.
All right, I'll read the first one here. I move the city council authorize the acting KPU general manager to transfer from the sales, marketing, customer service 2025 operating budget 80,000 from regular wages 500.01, 5,000 from overtime wages 501.01, 15,000 from temporary wages 502.01, 15,000 marketing 605.02, and 15,000 from telecommunications 650.01 for a total transfer of 130,000 to sales and marketing customer service 2025 bank and merchant charges account number 630.03 for the purposes of funding merchant fees for credit and debit card use for utility bill payments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions? Yes, Jay.
Looking at this and then looking at what we have in the KPU budget, we're looking at $500,000 in bank charges. And I understand customers, all of us use a credit card for convenience. Many of us run miles, many of us cannot, don't want to travel to KPU or a bank to do an ACH, but it is a matter of convenience. I think we need to look into working with PayTimes or any other processor that the charges are given, sent to the user and not part of our budget. Because it's only going to go up, and I understand we don't want to tax the consumer. We can always negotiate with PayTimes or any other provider of services to give us a great rate to the consumers. Again, I believe we all use credit cards to pay these bills as a convenience.
Thank you. I have a question. So I got on and looked at some of this stuff to see what was involved in it, and there's a lot of different things out there in regards to this, and there's a lot of concerns about the fees, how they manage the fees, what is really a requirement, and what is just a way to extract more funds. Annual fees, annual reporting, regulation fees, infrastructure, that kind of stuff. And I don't think any of them are mandatory. It's a service that you pay for within those programs. But they say that there's ways to reduce those costs. You probably should have some way to review those costs and see if they're reasonable. There was a lot of information on there that talked about whether you wanted to go to a surcharge stuff. Some of it was about the percentages that are charged and the dollar or the monetary amount that's charged in regards to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, the fact that some of them process their own stuff. So as we're doing this, and this is no reflection on the processor using now, but how do you verify that what you're paying for, you're getting?
Okay, so there's a lot there.
Yep.
Kim Simpson, Division Manager, Sales, Marketing, Customer Service. We have to separate a bank from a payment processor. So banks charge fees. Credit cards charge fees, and the fees vary depending on particularly what the end product is. A key thing for us is that electric utility is considered a necessary service for people, and so credit card companies charge a lower fee for electric, unless a fee is going to be charged to the consumer, in which case the fee reverts to a standard percentage. So if we were to decide to have the customer pay a fee, I've already had 3 minutes look at what that fee would be and what the adjustment would be, and it would be $9 to $10 per account. Because we would lose the rate that we've got. So,
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot more to this process than I understand, of course.
oh, believe
and-
me, it took me 2 years to negotiate the contract we had with Paymentus. It was 2 years of calculations and negotiation. We started at a much higher number.
and then went down, and we were able to fix on a $2.25 fee for most credit cards, with exception being the points cards, the mileage cards, and there's about 13 to 14% of our customers that use those cards. But actually, the vast majority out of the, let's see, average transactions and between the two are between 9,500 and 10,000 transactions per month. It's about $3 million, well, $2.5 to $3 million depending on the month. But the vast majority of them, 7,100, are the lowest fees.
Lacey.
I just wanted to add, Your Honor, and piggyback on what Ms. Simpson said, that, and she already stated it, but the fees that we have through Paymentus were negotiated. So they weren't a surprise at all. And as the council will get to in the second motion, Ms. Simpson and also John Zacharias have done an excellent job trying to negotiate those fees down even further to reduce this impact in the future. What is driving this increased cost, which was difficult to predict, is the type of card that people are using. And then with the utility rates increasing, the total amount that these percentages are corresponding to has gone up, which becomes a cost to us. So these are things that we couldn't predict until Paymentus was in use. So the fees were known, but just how people were utilizing the processing system was unknown.
Correct. And generally, an American Express will be a higher fee. They don't charge us a higher fee for American Express. Everything is the same. If you use PayPal or use a debit card, if you use MasterCard, Visa, it's all the same. They don't have like, it isn't like our old system where we just didn't know. That's why we didn't take American Express, frankly, that are discovered because the fees were so incredibly high. But these are all considered the same with Paymentus. You need to also understand that what shocked us was the adoption rate. So we went from about $1 million in processing to $2 million just on the electric side because people liked it. Because you can take, instead of having to go in and, for instance, if you've got multiple properties or a business that has multiple spots, it's all under one account or one login, and you can put all your accounts under there, so you can then plan out, I want this one to pay on the 5th, or you can choose, put them all on the due date, or you can pick or choose. You can say, I want to use credit card on this account, but I'm going to use this other credit card on this other particular account that I've got. If somebody maybe has, like, I don't know, they would have two different businesses under one login, they want to use one credit card for this and one credit card for the other, they can do that. And they can also make the payment 24/7. And then the other part with Paymentus, it is PCI compliant, which has, here, I'll show you how we used to process payments. Okay, so we write people's credit card numbers down and their contact information, and then you go up and somebody has to key punch it, and then sometimes they make a mistake because they're human. And then what if this happens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's like a $200,000 fine if it was to be reported. So what happens now is it's managed by the people. They put the credit card in on this end, and at the very end, the bank sees it. I don't see the number. Paymentus doesn't even see the number. It's 100% encrypted and it's guaranteed safe. And so there's just multiple reasons, and then also in terms of man hours that it takes. Our old automatic payment wasn't really, well, there was automatic payment and then there was online payment. Online payments, you would go in and put it into a system and then we would have to print them out. And then I had a front counter person that would sit and key punch it. So if you did it on a Friday, I'm not going to get it done till maybe 1 o'clock on a Monday. And again, occasionally we made mistakes. And then I would end up, not me, you don't want me key punching. You would have Lacey's account accidentally maybe go and pay Sean's because there was a key punch error and you got off on a line. Since it's all automated, it can be done 24/7, and then the payment's automatically applied to your account. So it's, if you go in and you pay it, there's that whole cutoff thing. People are very sensitive about, I have to get in and get this paid, or I'm going to get disconnected. But no, we know, because when you make the payment, it applies, and we know that. So we're having fewer issues with us accidentally disconnecting people too.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yes,
Just
Abby.
follow up. Thank you for that last point, because I was curious on if that would decrease that workload for you guys. With this, just kidding, it's the next item. It's not this one. It's
Okay.
it's the second motion. I apologize.
That's all right, that's all right.
Calling me then.
Anybody else? Hearing and seeing none, would you call the roll on recommend motion number 1?
Finnegan,
Yes.
Bradbury,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Thingy,
Yes.
Goose,
Yes.
Matani.
Yes.
We have a recommended motion number 2. Do I have a motion, please?
Your Honor, I move the City Council authorize the acting KPU General Manager to accept the amended terms of the 5-year contract between the City of Ketchikan doing business as Ketchikan Public Utilities and Paymentus Corporation for the adjusted fees of card/digital wallet to be $3.25 for telecom and $2.25 for utilities, ACH 50 cents, non-qualified cards 2.30%, and payments over $1,500 1.25%, and authorize the acting general manager to execute the amended agreement documents on behalf of the City Council.
Second.
Thank you. And just for clarification, the 1.25% has a comment in it, and you might want to just change it at some point when you get through there. Any discussion? Yes, Abby.
Yes. So I understand that we aren't able to pass on, like if we pass on the fee or the percentage, it could increase for our end customer. But I'm wondering, is there any way for us to enact a service fee on these cards or these services that would break us even on it? So we're not necessarily passing it on. You know, KPU would have a service charge now if they chose to go this route. Is that some way, a way around it, I guess, to?
It's not really, that's what we were hoping for, to be able to put a small fee, and what it does is it takes you out of the utility electric discount and makes that a general, a regular, like general like many places around town, there's a 3% surcharge. Ours are obviously much lower than that, but no, it because it's still considered a fee. One thing I've considered is, sorry, VC, is maybe going a surcharge if you don't go paperless, because with bulk rate now at 62 cents.
Yeah.
And letters at 78. If people go paperless with Paymentus, that's a significant amount of money. It was about $90,000 in postage expense last year, and it was the same. It's going to be the same this year. Actually, doing a transfer, you don't need to see because it's a small amount this year. But I've projected to have 10,000 in savings next year in postage by people adopting, and that would be a way of saving expenses. No, maybe not specifically in these fees. We've had such a high adoption rate. I think most of the people have signed up.
So can I follow up on that?
Yeah, follow.
So, so I'm under negotiated contracts as well, for rates, but you're allowed to institute a handling fee from the business side. It can't be the exact amount of money. So if it's like $3.25, you can't do a handling fee for $3.25, but you can do a handling fee. It's not necessarily a service charge or credit card charge, or it's a handling fee. And so I want us to really make sure that there isn't a way that's not, and again, I know it can't be the exact
I can
hand for hand, but
explain it. So there's something called a customer information file that has the account and their physical address and a billing address, and it has the amount that's past due. And there's all these separate fields, and that goes into Paymentus and is presented. If we add a field, we have to explain what it is. And by having a service charge, John, am I incorrect, or that's?
So the utilities, we're getting, John Zacharias, Database Operations Manager for KPU. Currently, right now, we're getting an incredibly good discount as a utility because we're a necessary function that has to be there. So the credit cards themselves, so Paymentus is a processor, right? The credit cards actually set the fees. Visa, and MasterCard, they set the fees. We get a discount. It's required by law that we get that discount as a utility. If we change it in whatever fashion, form,
then it becomes a fee that Paymentus is going to recover, but they're gonna recover it from our users at $9 or $10 per. Those are only options.
She
we
was
have.
asking why we did a
No,
$3, but that would
yeah,
change,
so-
that would change the KIF, which then would.
So like, we have staff that has to, you know, they're involved with customers. There's always that human aspect. We have employees. So like for us, because we have that same too, we do a handling fee. It doesn't match the credit card fee or anything like that, but it is a set fee that every customer pays, no matter if it's $1 or $1,000. But that fee is, it's really, we use it for our employees, which then helps off that set, you know, costs in general. So I just didn't know if there was something outside of, we focused on the credit card fee, but I'm wondering if there's something else outside of that.
Yeah,
So,
so because we have this customer file, I think it's a little different than, we're not just swiping a dollar amount. There's a, we're going into the customer's account, and that this customer information file that goes to Paymentus, like there, so we've got two things there at the same time, and it's so Paymentus has our bill presented in, it's not really in our billing system, it's there. And so if we try, my fear is we try and institute that fee, then they will say, they know what we're trying to do, and then it goes, basically we end up losing our discount. Because we were told if we try and charge a fee, we would lose the utility discount, be treated as a general product, and then the fees would go up the equivalent between $9 and $10.
Yeah,
Yeah, have you figured out what you've saved so far since, I'm just curious to know, I get the fee thing, but I'm curious to know, how much we're saving in man time.
Oh, in man time?
And,
Okay,
I mean, if we went and
Yeah.
like itemized out their hours of work
well,
and
I've
how you
eliminated-
used to do it versus now, would it not even out with the fee?
Yes, I've eliminated positions. So that when we converted over, I didn't fill some openings. I had promoted some people. I chose not to fill those to see what the impact would be on the business. My calls are down 43%. Our voicemail, you guys, who here has gotten calls, not this year, but like previous years, from constituents that KP's not answering their phones? Yes, that was the big thing. Why are you not answering the phones? It's because we're inundated with phone calls. So, and then they leave voicemail messages. Our voicemail messages are down over 60%. Our call volume is down 43% because people are able to go in and check their bill on their own. The minute the bill is produced, they don't have to wait for it to come in the mail. It's in the portal, and then they can go and manage it themselves. So I brought you pictures. There you go. Yep. Sorry.
thank you.
So this is customer service. And what we have now is. Oh, I'm sorry, Lacey, you go on. Okay, so we have here is, so we reconfigured the front. So there's the one that has the empty white. That is where we accept check and cash payments. And then the other two are kiosks that are set up so customer can just come in and make a payment themselves. They're just logging into their Paymentus account. I've got a third one also. And then the one below shows the computer screens for the customer solution specialists. So anybody in the back can now take a credit card payment. So really the front can just concentrate primarily on cash and check. And due to the decrease in the amount of work that's required, these papers I threw around, we would, these would have to be processed, and then we would kind of hold them for a day to make sure everything looked correct. Then we had to like shred them. There was a lot of the front counter had to do. The front counter position used to run all the billing, but they had to come down here and go up to data processing and stand there for 2 days, 5 times a month to run the bills, and then have to deliver the bills to the post office. It's all automated now. We they don't have to do the filing. I'm working on everything on a visual application that'll automatically go into an account. So the amount of work that's there is, it's just not there. And so I've eliminated a front counter position, and that person can concentrate on cash and checks primarily. So today we took 20 cash payments, 10 checks, and 40 credit cards at the front counter. And they processed 37 checks that were mailed in. As well as, oh, actually, there was a couple of those were credit cards. Some of the elderly people write their credit card number and mail them in. And so that's kind of what they did at the front counter. And we're also looking into a kiosk that could be put into the wall, going out into the mall where people could put their own, they can put a check, but they can do cash and they can do their own payment there too. So we're looking into what that would mean. The front counter person also used to be a switchboard, and we don't need that with our automated phone system anymore.
I've actually seen where there was a fee for people who stayed paper. I can't remember what bill it was I got. It was recently where if you went paperless, it was like a percentage off on your.
GCI actually gives you a discount if you do the automatic payment. If you walk in and pay, it's a higher fee. If you do it automated, they take $10 off of people's bill instead of charging them.
I do enjoy the automatic.
So we have a motion on the floor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city council. Is there any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Zingy.
Yeah.
Coos.
No.
Matani.
No.
Finnegan.
Yes.
Bradbury.
Yes.
Gage. Yes. That passes your honor 4-2.
Thank you. Bring us to item C, budget transfer fire department overtime. So I have a motion, please.
Your Honor, I move the city council authorize the acting city manager to transfer $75,000 from the fire department's 2025 mobile for health personnel wages and benefits accounts to the fire department's 2025 operations overtime account number 501.01 to fund overtime expenditures necessary for the remainder of 2025.
Second.
Been moved second. Lacy, what do we have here?
Your Honor, this is just a budget transfer for the fire department's overage and its overtime account. As the council, I think, is aware, pretty much on an annual basis toward the end of the year, we need to make adjustments to the fire department's overtime account. We've held that account relatively flat over the years, but it continues to increase in cost, partially due to call volume, partially due to increased wages. So we're at that point in the year where we need to make that transfer in order to provide for ample funding through the rest of the year, which isn't very much longer. Due to vacancies in the mobile integrated health cost center, that program, we do have personnel wages that we can dedicate for the funds that are needed in the regular overtime wages account. So we're fortunate in that regard. But again, I will stress that this is something that is done pretty much on an annual basis for the fire department.
So I appreciate that because in this case, we're not over budgeting that account. We get to this time of year, we can make transfers, or if we had to make a supplemental, we could do that. And so I think this is a good process, and I understand we've been doing this year after year for a while. Any other comments? Hearing, seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Gage. Yes. Zingy.
Yep.
Coos.
Yes.
Matani.
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes.
Bradbury.
Yes.
Thank you. Brings item D, authorize additional vacation benefits, electrical division manager. Do I have a motion, please?
Your Honor, I move the city council authorize a beginning vacation accrual balance of 15 working days and its use at the general manager's discretion as part of the employment offer to the electric division manager position to Mr. Robert Briggs.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Lacy.
Your Honor, members of the council, I'm really happy to report that we have extended an offer to an electric division manager candidate from California. As you know, this position has been extremely hard to recruit for, and following council action several months ago to reclassify the position so that it had a more competitive wage, we received a really great application from Mr. Briggs. We were able to interview him, bring him to town, show him our facilities, and believe that he would be a great asset for the electric division. We made tentative verbal agreement on wages, but he has requested additional vacation time and use during his probationary period. Those benefits are dictated by our personnel rules, and any deviation therein requires council approval, which is why I'm here tonight to ask for that additional consideration. So starting leave balance for Mr. Briggs being higher than a new employee, and also use of that vacation leave during his first 6 months of employment while he's still probationary. So still is able, if it's not working out, we still are completely at liberty to separate that relationship. But again, because he's moving from California and has different family considerations, I feel like this is a good and competitive benefit to offer that really has no cost to the city.
Yes, Jay.
Through the mayor, the manager, I don't know whether you have the figures, but do we know what the total compensation package is and what's the difference between Mr. Bynum and this increase?
So, Councilmember Matani, I do not have the total compensation inclusive of other benefits, but his base salary is at about $215,000, which is well within the range that the council established, which is much higher. Well, not I should say much higher, but it's higher than the previous electric division manager, again, because of that reclassification.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Abby.
I was just curious, who sat in on the interview process?
Yes, so it was myself, the human resources manager, the acting assistant city manager, one of our line crew foremen, our meter shop relay control foreman, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, our project manager for the electric division. So yeah. So there were 6 of us. It was a large panel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Hearing and seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Bradbury,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Zingy,
Yes.
Coos,
Yep.
Matani.
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes.
Okay, you're on it.
Thank you very much. Brings us on, there's no vouchers. Item
70.
Oh, yeah, we have E.
We have 5.
So we moved, resolution number 2983, authorizing the middle of a $2 million loan application to the State of Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation. Do I have a motion?
Your Honor, I move the city council approve resolution number 25-2983, authorizing the submittal of a $2 million loan application to the State of Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation for funding through the Alaska Drinking Water Loan Fund Program for the Ketchikan Lakes Raw Water Supply Project with a potential subsidy in the amount of $1,500,000 and establishing an effective date.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Your Honor,
Lacey,
can we?
you want to explain any of this? I think we've gone through this once, have we not?
We have, Your Honor, yes, happy to give a little overview. So we have gone through this process many times. So this particular action in adopting a resolution shouldn't be too unfamiliar for the city council. So all that this action is doing is authorizing staff to submit a loan application to the state's revolving fund loan program. And for this particular project, it's for our Ketchikan Lakes Alternative Raw Water Supply Project, which the council is somewhat familiar with. We had our consultant Floyd Damron from Jacobs Engineering give a fairly thorough presentation on this project and its necessity, its cost, its timeline. So this is one of the first steps to moving forward in that project, to getting more designing and engineering and project planning in place. But we obviously do not have the funding at this level to move forward with the project, which is why we are requesting authorization to submit a loan. This does not commit the city to anything or KPU. That again, this is just authorizing staff to submit that loan. If we are successful in the loan, there'll be a different set of approvals that need to come back to the city council for review and consideration before things would be finalized. This is a very, very expensive project, I'm not going to lie, but it's also a very, very important one. In terms of establishing an alternative raw water supply for the city's municipal water source. Currently, the infrastructure that's in place has a dual purpose for both water and electric hydro generation. It's vulnerable in that it's quite old. There are aspects of it that are failing, and if it were to fail completely, we would have no means of conveying water from the only water supply to residents of Ketchikan, both for residential and commercial uses, but also fire protection. So it's not a project that can be ignored forever. We certainly don't want to ignore it to the point that we have a failure or some other catastrophe on our hands. But we have to start moving forward incrementally and doing this planning and this design and this research work.
Jay.
to the mayor, how sure are we that we will secure the loan?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Kleiniger. John, if you don't mind coming up, since you've been having conversations with the state on where this project ranks.
Certainly. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I worked too many years for the pulp mill. I'm a little hard of hearing. Could you repeat the question again?
I mean,
How sure are we that we're gonna get the loan in your conversations with the state?
Well, we have to submit the application, but certainly, in all our conversations before, particularly not just the loan amount that was requested, plus the additional offer for $1,500,000 on top of that, that would be an actual forbearance and wouldn't have to be repaid. This is an outgrowth of an earlier project that was never completed by ourselves and Public Works. We received a drinking water loan, but the clean water loan for the work in Park Avenue and Harris Street. One body couldn't undo the whole thing, and that particular offer was never accepted. But in this case, they looked very favorably on us and the importance of the project, and that was the reason for the forbearance.
Thank you. Yes, Dick.
Yeah, do we have, I'll call a project work plan which shows the scheduling of the design, the building and getting it done, along with a financial plan that shows what it's gonna cost when and what it's gonna impact the ratepayers? Do we have a plan that's laid? I can see it.
Yeah, so it's not that detailed as of yet. If I recall when Jacobs presented kind of an overview of the project, it's at least sort of a 5-year horizon, I think, if everything were to fall into place. But I think it's probably a much longer horizon than that. I think, again, developing a revenue stream to how to support it, a big aspect of that revenue stream is to look at loans like this, look at grant funding, because I don't recall what the total is for the project, but it's in the magnitude of $20 million. It's not something that we could ever hope to create a rate structure for to support, especially within a 5-year time frame. So we're going to be relying on external funding. So those are things that we're going to continue to work on, Councilmember Coos, but until we have this early part of the project where we can get some better estimating, it's difficult to create a financial plan and structure to support a project like this, because it's still, I think, a bit of an unknown.
Okay, Abby.
Just on that note, we've gone through this funding source a couple times. How many more times are we going to go through this to get to the point where we can say, okay, is it a government agency or somebody like, hey, we need help, this is what it's going to cost? Like, how much is this going to be every year for the next 4 years? Is it, where are we at on
And
that?
in terms of this, the SRF loans, or
Well, just like getting enough for the design factor, like design is currently estimated at 6.2 million. So obviously we need to get 6.2 million before we can ask anybody for money, because unless we have that, we don't know how much. And so like if we went to the senator, we can't say, hey, just give us some money for this project that's important. So I just didn't know how much more do we need to get to the $6.2 million design feature to where we can maybe go out for some help.
yeah. So if we're able to secure this $2 million, that will go toward the total 6.2 million, I believe. So then there's another 3.5 that's going to be needed, or 4.5. So certainly we can continue to pursue SRF loans. But I think at that point, it would probably behoove us to engage a grant writer if we can. Because the SRF program is wonderful, but it's highly competitive. And we take advantage of it for other projects. It's not an endless well. So But it is difficult for finding grants for just design. They're more interested in shovel ready, we know the cost, ready to go type of projects so that they can, really realize that investment. But I think, and we've submitted projects like these to the state, which I know is not a very reliable funding source. We continue to have conversations with our congressional delegation, and we have been awarded, I think to date, 2 congressionally directed spending allocations. So that's another avenue as well. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Finnegan,
Yes.
Matani,
Yes.
Coos,
Yes.
Zingy,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Bradbury.
Yes.
That passes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Brings down the manager's report. What do you have, Lisa?
Not too much, Your Honor. In addition to my report, just a couple little mentions. The police department will be sponsoring its annual Shop with a Cop event that will be on December 13th. I always like to give the council a heads up because, as I think the council is aware, as part of that process, when the children who are taking part in the program are escorted to go shop, we have a long convoy of police and other law enforcement vehicles. And so it's very exciting for the kids, but if you don't know what's going on, it looks like something very, very bad is going on. It's in fact just the opposite. So we're really looking forward to that program. This past Sunday, we had the annual tree lighting ceremony and holiday celebration for the community at the fire station with partnership with the Forest Service for use of the big, beautiful tree that's outside of the federal building. This event just gets a bit better every year. I think we've had record attendance this year. We ran out of supplies, which is never good, but I think it speaks to how popular it's been. And I just want to commend all of the people that volunteered and participated, for Kim Simpson and her staff for putting it on, and also the fire department for hosting it. I think it's a really, really wonderful tradition that we now have in the community. I am pleased to report, and hopefully I'm not stealing the mayor's thunder here, that at yesterday's SEPA board meeting, it was confirmed or affirmed that the wholesale power rate for SEPA will not be increasing in 2026. What has been presented in the draft budgets is the current rate, so there's no amendment that needs to be done there. So very, very happy about that. And lastly, just want to say one more thing about our police department and just again echo everything that Chief Mattson said in terms of the work that our 2 detectives have done to bring two individuals that have been committing some very, very heinous crimes in our community to bring that to justice. As Chief Mattson said, these are crimes and these are investigations that often don't go noticed in our community. Takes a huge toll on the families that are involved with our officers. And they really did just an absolutely tremendous job. And I think it's a good thing when we can highlight the good work that they do, even though it's for very unfortunate circumstances. So I thank Chief Mattson for bringing that to all of you tonight. And that's all that I have.
Any questions? Yes.
I just have a question about the bear resistant dumpsters, but in general, like the bear resistant trash canisters or containers. I know we're starting to get some for residents and then we charge residents and whatnot. But I'm wondering if there's been an analysis, and I know I keep saying this word, an analysis done to see if we were to replace the trash cans for the residents, how much time would that reduce our staff from picking up trash? And also how much would that save on replacing the trash cans? Like I know on my street, this summer we've gone through like 13 trash cans just on my lovely street because we have a really bad bear. And I also watched the trashmen spend way longer than they should ever on our tiny street, picking up trash that has gone everywhere. So I just am like, I know it's costly and we're charging, some people can get it and it's $10 a month or something, but I'm wondering really if we were to invest in these residential bear cans, would we be breaking even with staff time and also replacement of the containers? So it's just something that I've really been thinking as we've discussed it on Creek Street, and then I look at my street and some other places. So I'm just curious if maybe it's worthwhile looking at how to help because our staff isn't getting younger and bigger at all. So I just didn't know if there was some, so it was just a thought and it was on the agenda, so.
Sure. I don't believe there's been any kind of formal analysis. I can ask Public Works and Solid Waste if they can kind of provide some more anecdotal detail to that. I will say that there's a lot about this particular issue that doesn't necessarily rise to staff time. I think the impact that it has, like you were just describing, impact in neighborhoods, between neighbors, calls to the police department. There's a whole host of things aside from just trash pickup in which this has an impact, but we can kind of see if there's a way to.
And I'm not wasting any time, New Year problem, but the Bears are asleep right now. But I just really was looking because, you know, the people who do have this right now or was able to get it, they are like raving on these things and they're like, it is peaceful at night. You know, it's peaceful and it has to be better on our staff going to those houses, you know, it can't be fun. So I just didn't know. It's just something to think about in the future.
Thank you. Anything else, like?
No.
It was just the council committee reports. We have one in the packet from the LEPC. Thank you, Jay, for that. Clerk's file,
Nothing, Your Honor.
city attorney's file. We have a report in the packet, and it was good to read that report and see what's going on. There's a lot of things in play, so we appreciate the reports. Future agenda items?
Your Honor.
Yes.
So I submitted today to the clerk and the manager our where is it? I can't see anymore. The request to establish a tourism advisory board. I'd like us to have that on the agenda. This comes from myself, Councilwoman Bradbury, and Mayor Stevenson. I have asked that it be scheduled for sometime in January. I just feel that it's important that we look at this. I mean, it is our most important economic driver. We have a Ports and Harbors Board. That's a successful board. We have a museum board, a library board. I have no idea why we don't have a tourism board. And I really think that we need to look at that because tourism belongs to the entire community. And it's very different, an advisory board. It's very different than the KVB. And I think the KVB has a very important place in our community and with the businesses. But this is a board that would advise the council. So I'd like to see us do that board. So I submitted that just as a heads up.
So if we can move that into the January schedule, that'd be great.
Yes. Yep. Happy to do that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other agenda items at this time? Mayor and council comments before we go into executive session.
Do you want to have an extra meeting for?
Yeah, we can do that under this particular future agenda items or what we want to do. So we see where we're at now in the budget, and we have continued to look at where we're going. Is there a desire to have another budgetary meeting scheduled for the 11th? I think that's the Thursday of next. If we finish early, we don't have to use the last one, right? But I think I would rather have enough meetings to get this process done before at deadline than not. So do I have 4 hands to schedule? There we go.
Better safe than sorry.
We can make the proper notices.
Yeah. Notice.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, can we take a break before we go into executive session?
You want to do, we'll do, go take a break, we'll do council more comments and we'll make a motion to go inside. So we'll take a break. After, so
Burn.
we'll come back to order. So we have, mayor, council comments, so Abby, what do you have for us?
No, I'm distracted. I have none.
It worked.
Good job, yeah.
Jan Lee.
I don't really have anything. Thanks for the hard work, Mattson. That's tough talking about it and at the podium. My heart goes out to everybody who has to do that kind of work. Other than that, I have nothing.
Judy.
Well, I'm happy that we gave a letter of support to Juliana. She works very hard, and if anyone can get the work done on that grant, it'll be her. And congratulations to Ross for completing his apprenticeship. I think that's pretty awesome. I've always been a big fan. And yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Just thanks to the police department.
Jay.
Yeah, thanks to the police department for the work they do. It goes so much under the radar. I think I'd like to see a resolution honoring or recognizing those two officers.
Thank you. Do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. I attempted to make this comment on Tuesday, but the night had worn on. It was time for us to get out, so I thought I'd make this comment tonight. One of the advantages to serving the Library Advisory Board is the director's been bringing staff members to those lab meetings just to better explain the work that they do. There were a couple of questions at Tuesday's budget-related meeting regarding outreach, the outreach librarians' efforts, and the collection development policies that we have in place. So if you'd like a really detailed explanation of how those parts of the library function, I would strongly recommend that you watch the staff presentations from those meetings. Rebecca Brown, who's our outreach librarian, she presented at the meeting of April 9th, 2025. And Lisa Pearson, who leads the adult services at the library, she explains the collection development policy. That was at our meeting of October 8th of 2025. So if you're looking for a little more nuanced understanding of how those departments work, that would be a great resource. I'd recommend them.
Thank you. And again, yes, I'd like to thank all our public safety and city employees for some of the stuff they go through from time to time. I'm just hoping that there's counseling available and support. And I know inside the department, there's tremendous amount of that in the community and elsewhere too. These are things that remain with you for your life. And you carry that with you. I have family members who've gone through similar stuff, so thank you. With that, we're going to move on to request for an executive session to discuss strategies relative to negotiation purchase of the land through the Harbor Department. Do I have a motion, please?
Your Honor, I move the City Council declare that consistent with the acting Assistant City Manager's recommendation, it is in the best interest of the city to discuss strategies relative to negotiations for the purchase of the Mountain Point Boat Launch parking lot from the Alaska Mental Health Trust in executive session. In accordance with that recommendation, the City Council will go into executive session in accordance with the Ketchikan Municipal Code Section 2.04.025A1 to discuss said negotiations and subjects, the knowledge of which would have an adverse impact upon the finances of the city and upon the city's ability to negotiate a favorable agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Who's?
Okay.
Matani?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Bradbury?
Yes.
Gage?
Yes.
Zingy? Yeah. That's a challenge.
Executive.
Okay, that's still gonna be the death.
Come back to order. We met in executive session, had discussions and gave direction to staff. And then I think just there was another one on the community action plan, so. With that,
Adjourn.
all opposed, hearing and seeing none, stand adjourned. Good night.